Today we're gonna be making pumpkin bread. The ingredients you're gonna need for pumpkin bread are 1 cup of granulated sugar, 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pumpkin spice, 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/3 cup of vegetable oil, 1 cup of pumpkin puree, and 1 egg that's beaten. So the first step is to mix all of the dry ingredients together. So first I'm going to start off with picking up my wax paper carefully, and I'm going to pour them into my mixing bowl. Next, I'll take the rest of my dry ingredients and gently to my mixing bowl. Take a whisk and you're going to start mixing all of the dry ingredients until they're well combined. So you want to incorporate all of those dry ingredients together, all of the spices, with the flour, with your leavening agents. Next, in a separate bowl, we're gonna start to whisk together all of our wet ingredients. So that's our vegetable oil, the pumpkin puree, and the egg. So I'm gonna start off by pouring the egg in that I already beat together using a fork in the custard cup. Next, I'll pour in the oil. And lastly, I'm gonna put the pumpkin puree in. So just tap it gently. Just make sure that you get all the pumpkin out of the cup in case there's any that's stuck. And we're gonna take a whisk to combine all of those wet ingredients together. So just like with the dry ingredients, you're gonna mix this until all the wet ingredients are well combined. Next, once the dry ingredients are mixed and once the wet ingredients are mixed, you're gonna take your wet ingredient bowl and you're gonna gently scrape the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. So using the rubber spatula, you're gonna scrape the wet ingredients into the bowl. So it's helpful to use the side of the spatula when you're scraping the bowl. Okay? Just try to scoop all of the wet ingredients as much as you can and get every bit into the dry ingredient bowl, or as best as you can. So here are all of the wet ingredients in the dry ingredient bowl, and I've started to mix them together. Notice that I've switched over to a wooden spoon so the batter becomes well combined. Okay, so you want to mix until you no longer see any dry spots. Next, we're going to take our 8x8 square pan and we're going to prepare the pan by greasing it with some nonstick cooking spray. So just making sure that you are covering the pan evenly with cooking spray. That way, when the pumpkin bread is baking, it's not going to stick and burn to your pan. So once the pan is prepared, you're going to now scrape the batter into the pan using the rubber spatula again. So again, slowly pour the batter in to the pan and get all of it in as best as you can using the side of the spatula. Scoop. So all of the batter's in the pan. Now I'm going to use my spatula and just evenly spread this across the pan. You want to try to evenly spread it so the thickness is the same. So if you see any excess batter is stuck to the pan, just take a paper towel and just give it a quick wipe. What happens is if you bake with that excess batter on the pan, it'll just burn and stick, and then once you have to wash the pan, it'll be very difficult to get that off. So we're just gonna wipe those first before putting it into the oven. All right, so here is the batter, and we're gonna lightly tap the pan on the counter so the batter settles to the bottom and there are no air pockets. So here's the pumpkin bread once it's out of the oven. You're gonna take a toothpick and insert the toothpick into the bread, and if it comes out clean, then it's properly baked. You wanna allow this to cool completely and then cut into slices and enjoy.